What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Tears Take. I'm Tyranny, and I recap reality shows every week. If you love the Housewives as much as I do, then this is the channel for you. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoy the content so that you can get more of it and so that other people, other Bravo lovers like yourself, can receive the content as well. So I am going to recap the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14 Reunion Part 2. And I have no notes. I am just going to go right off the dome for y'all because the reunion was a lot and a little all at the same time. So I'm just going to kind of like go down the list and we're just going to talk. So if you are here for that, stick around. So the episode opens after the ladies' lunch break. During the break, Garcelle must have had a lot more to say than what we saw because some of it got back to Andy. So when they got back to the couch, Andy prompted Garcelle and was like, hey, Garcelle, what did you have to say to Kyle? So she basically told Kyle, I think that you came to me and had that off-camera conversation about Morgan. I feel like you did that to hush me up. And didn't I say that in the last recap? She absolutely did do that. Sutton was right. It was definitely a chess move. She went to the most vocal person and tried to cozy up to Garcelle just to make her feel like they were friends so that she can hush. And, and for the most part she did, but Garcelle was the only one who was still pushing the Morgan thing. So it didn't fully work. So Kyle, of course, Kyle can never own up to anything. And so she was like, oh no, I did it because I wanted to feel closer to you. And I saw you as a friend. I'm like, did you? You just called her a mean girl last episode. So is she a mean girl or is she your friend who you divulge your deepest, darkest secrets to? Kyle is so full of, you know what? You are so full of it. It would be so refreshing if she was like, all right, you got me. Yeah, I just didn't want you to run your mouth. Thank you for keeping my secret, girl. I wasn't sure how you would handle it. I know I got Sutton under my thumb, but I wasn't really sure about you. You're a little bit of a wild card. And so I had to kind of do something to try to keep a lid on things. That would be so refreshing to be like, wow. But, God forbid Kyle, shows any sort of vulnerability or shows, not vulnerability, that's not the word, but shows any like realness. So anyway, so she said that, and I don't think Garcelle bought it, but she definitely just deaded it. She was just like, oh, okay, thank you. And Garcelle, that was pretty much the end of Garcelle's kind of contribution to this part. She was really quiet most of this episode, and she, as I said in many other recaps probably by now, she is just kind of a reunion flop for me because it's not that you have to be aggressive or like brazen. You can, but you like stand up for yourself. And you do a lot of this all season. And I'm looking at you too, Sutton. I didn't get to you yet, but I'm talking about you as well. But you do a lot of this all season and a lot of shade and a little jabs and you say all the things and you ask all the things that the audience or the majority of the audience talks about and wants to see. And then you get to the reunion and it's like crickets. And then you're like dumbfounded that the cast is kind of alienating you a bit. And it's like, you got to pick one. Pick a side, Garcelle. And I think them ganging up on her in part 1, she was kind of just done with it. And she kind of shut down for part 2. It wasn't really about her, but she still could have like tried to contribute, but she didn't. And so even in that interaction with Kyle, she didn't even put up a fight. She was like, oh, okay. And she just rolls over and takes it every time. And it's like, why did you even bring it up if you weren't going to have a discourse about it, if you weren't going to have a dialogue, if you weren't going to tell your real thoughts? I understand it's Kyle and you're only going to get but so far, but I probably would have just drilled her a little bit more. I probably would have said what I just said. I would have been like, well, why'd you come to me? Why'd you feel safe coming to me if you think I'm a mean girl? I would have been like, I would have just pressed her. No one presses Kyle. She did get pressed a little bit. We'll talk about it. But in general, people could say a lot more to Kyle. So then Andy gets a question that said, Kyle, like, what do you have to say about people who think you're a hypocrite because you don't show your whole life. You don't show everything and you want other people to do it. And then Kyle says something like, again, instead of answering the question directly, she kind of like goes around it and she was like, well, I am not gonna like hurt my children for views or for ratings or for clickbait. Like, I'm just not gonna do anything like that. And then here goes Erika saying one of the 5 words that she said in this part of the reunion. She's like, yeah, I agree. So you agree with Kyle about that, but you don't agree that Garcelle has the autonomy to not show some parts of her life. Make that make sense. I wish Garcelle spoke up in that moment. We already know Sutton. We already know. I wish Garcelle, like I said, she was so over it, but I wish she set that stage on fire before she left. It is so easy to just catch these girls in lies, in their double standards, to call them out in their hypocrisy, to just read them down for the clowns they are. It's so easy. The material is right. The material is just copious. You can, it's there. And she just didn't say anything. I would have been like, well, wait a minute, hold up. Like, pray tell. But she didn't. So then, so Kyle thought she was off the hook. And mind you, throughout this whole episode, Kyle's crystals kept like jumping out of her lap or jumping out of like wherever she was. I was like, ooh, girl, your energy is that bad. I've never seen a crystal jump before. Like, she dropped them. They were like, I was like, damn. I was like, Kyle, I'm gonna stay away from you. Nope. Anyway, so they basically get back on the Morgan topic, and Andy was like, well, you know what? She is a public figure. Like, she's a singer. She is in the public eye, and with that comes speculation of your private life. Like, so, that's normal. And then Kyle's like, well, no, like, she's never really, no one's ever speculated about her before. And, this fan base is different, Andy. And it is, but that's still not a compelling argument. And she still signed the dotted line and wanted to sing on camera and strum her guitar. And you wanted to get fed skewers and have googly eyes with you at the height of all of the rumors. And then you're questioning why people are speculating. Make it make sense. And why didn't anyone ask her, why did she decide to do it in the first place? What was the point? What was the point? I'm sorry, what? Huh? What, Kyle? What was the point of her coming on in the first place? Oh, I'll help you, Kyle. The point of her coming in the first place was because there was already speculation of what was going on between you two. You were separated from Mo. You thought you were going to make Mo jealous and have him come groveling back to you after you initiated the separation. But lo and behold, Mo been waiting for you to give him free reign so he can cheat in peace. And when you realized Mo didn't care about you, you got your face cracked. So Mo not giving a damn, on top of public opinion just kind of like turning on you with the Housewives, on top of the extra media attention between you and Morgan, and I'm sure that kind of just snowballed out of control. Now you're like, oh, I just can't handle this. I need to retreat. But it was all well and good when you thought Mo would have cared, and you thought he probably would have came back wanting you, and you probably would have had the upper hand. But that shifted real easily when you realized he didn't care. Kyle, he can take or leave you. And now it's, oh, now I'm stuck with this girl who I'm sure you have feelings for. You guys are still seen gallivanting around, but now it's getting real. Now I have to explain this to my daughters. Now I have to figure out what this new lifestyle is going to look like. Now things are getting real. It was cute when we were on the tabloids and I can rub it in Mo's face and say, at least it's not you getting accused of cheating this time. It was cute then, right? So I really appreciated Andy in this segment. Him and Dorit were tag teaming Kyle's behind, and it was glorious. Basically, so Andy was telling her, yeah, she's a public figure, and you guys act like it was such a negative experience, but in reality, she became a household name. No one knew who that girl was except for country people who listen to country music. And I listen to all types of music. I do like some country songs, but I never heard of her. So she's not like a huge country artist. It seems like she's a little bit more niche. Maybe. Whatever. Don't come at me in the comments if she is some like huge superstar that must have fell off of my radar. But I know her because of her connection to Kyle. And I think she became more mainstream because of her connection to Kyle. And I heard that Kyle was like part of her management team or was trying to cut some deals and like get her like a documentary or work on a documentary for her. So she was kind of invested in Morgan's career taking off. That's just what I heard, child. I don't know. Allegedly. So that probably was the reason why she got her on the show. Now that I think about it, you know, that and trying to make Mo jealous. So anyway, oh yeah, so Andy was in her behind like, well, you're saying it's so bad, but it actually gave her more of a platform. More people know who she is. There was a New York Times article written about her. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like you can't want fame and then get mad when you get attention. So they were basically saying that. And then Andy brought up the music video and he was like, well, like, why would you, the other part is like, you also want to sit here and cry that, oh, I'm having all these issues and people are saying so many things about me. But then you go and do that music video. And he was like, she had a big hand in how that music video played out. And again, you're in the words of PK, you're scratching the nose. Like you're scratching the nose of people who are speculating, who want to know more, who want to, you know, put out salacious things and, you know, who actually think you guys are interesting. Y'all are not. Like, I'm completely over it, but I'm sure some people still care. And he was like, yeah, so, you know, Morgan had a big part in that. So again, you're having your cake and eat it too. And here goes Sutton. Oh, did you guys eat cake at the music? Shut up, Sutton. Shut up. That's like what, one of the 4 sentences you said in this part, in the whole reunion? Shut up, Sutton. I am so over you. Shut up. That was so stupid. Ugh. Anyways, back to Kyle fighting for her life with, because you already know she was stuttering, always, you know, gooped as soon as, you know, someone actually tries to hold her accountable. So, what else did they say? So back to the music video. They were like, yeah, Morgan had a big hand in that. And then Kyle was like, oh, well, I did too. Trying to defend Morgan because now she's realizing like the walls are like caving in on her now. And she is trying to not have Morgan painted like this fame hungry little bitch, right? So she's now like panicking and she's like, oh, well, she's trying to like throw herself, you know, in the line of fire now. And she's like, oh, well, no, I had a hand in it too. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting because last reunion, was it last reunion? Yeah, last reunion when they were talking about it, you said you had no idea what was happening. You just showed up and just got your makeup done and just walked on the set and didn't know anything. Isn't that what you said, Kyle? Can you keep your lies straight? No one believed you. Everyone knows, like, you're a control freak, A. And B, normally when you sign up to do a job, you know, they kind of tell you what they need you to do and what the premise is and how to act and what to do. They usually don't tell you, you know, 5 minutes before they hit record. So, yeah, we, you know, guessed that you were lying. But you told us last year, oh, I didn't know. I just showed up. Girl. I'm surprised no one called her out on that. It's so easy to catch these girls and make them like, oh, hold up. Run this back, Kyle. It's so easy to just like pin them down and say, no. Explain this. Make it make sense. Oh, you can't? Oh, okay. Because you're a liar. Next question, Andy. It's easy. So then talking to Kyle, talking to Dorit, she didn't like the Watch What Happens Live comment that Dorit said, that Kyle started distancing herself from her as she got closer to Morgan. First of all, I don't understand how that's a big deal. I don't see that as, oh my God, Kyle's a lesbian. I don't see that. That happens in friendships all the time with people that are just terrible people and can't manage friendships. And maybe they get the new shiny, cool friend and then they start kind of like dismissing their older friends. That happens. It's not a good thing that happens, but it does happen sometimes. And that's how I took it. I didn't take it as, oh, she's giving us confirmation that they're together. She literally just said, you know, how has it, the question was asked, how has her friendship with Morgan impacted your friendship? Oh, you know what? I'm not as close with her anymore. That's literally all that was said. And the fact that Kyle keeps harping on this, I can't. So she's like, no, that causes issues for me. And I'm like, what kind of issues? Morgan's gonna be mad. Morgan, what you gonna do? Huh? Oh, nothing. Go make another music video. And like, she kept saying, like, there were a few times where she was either like, oh, that created issues for me, and that created issues, and well, no, Morgan wasn't mad about that. Morgan, what you gonna do? Why you got Kyle out here scared? Kyle, blink twice if you need help. Because I was really confused how she was like talking about Morgan like she's somebody when she's the age of your daughter. Ew, Kyle, that's nasty. She's 20 years younger than you, and you up here tiptoeing around trying not to hurt Morgan's feelings. Here's Morgan. In the words of Yolanda, I mean, really, who is Morgan Wade in this world? I'm feeling a little spicy today, y'all. It's actually more fun having not having notes, so maybe I need to not do that anymore. What else happened? Then they kind of go into the Kyle and Dorit like PK debacle. Honestly, that storyline is so tired. But basically the few points that I took away is Kyle is a liar. Bose is correct in that. I think we all see that. We've all seen that. Because basically Kyle's like, no, like you guys make it sound like I texted him all the time or I just texted him randomly. But the text that I read was after he announced the separation. I don't talk to him like that. Like you guys made it worse than it was. Cut to unseen footage of Erika and Kyle talking. And Kyle's like, oh yeah, like PK tells me a lot of things. Yeah, I know a lot. Kyle, that big round black contraption that has a little red dot and there's a person holding it, that's called a camera. And when you see that, that means what you say is being recorded, okay? And when that happens, they can play it back and undo any of your lies. I'm not sure if you realize that, but for someone who's, you know, grown up on TV and been on this show for 14, 15 years, I'm not sure if you grasp that. It's very easy. Try not to lie. Be a liar in your day-to-day, but on TV, try to tell the truth, honey. It's going to come back and bite you if not. Oh, I get it. You weren't thinking it was going to be shown because of your little executive friends. Got it, Kyle. I got it, girl. Okay, so anyways, so that was like the one thing that came out of that Kyle PK Dorit thing is that she's lying about their relationship. It's like she's trying to minimize it. She told Erika it was a lot more. Dorit is telling Kyle, I don't even know why this is even a thing because you're not his friend. You're my friend. Your loyalty is with me. So I don't even know why you're up here telling people, oh, he's been a better friend to you. And you're kind of like spinning this narrative like, oh, he's my brother. And Dorit was like, no, y'all ain't that close. Stop playing. He tells me everything. Stop playing. So that was another thing that I took back. Another thing is that, again, Kyle's just a liar. She said, you know, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. I'm not going to reach out. But then there were times that she did reach out and said, oh, we had a big drama. And like, for what? Kyle, do you want PK too? Do you want PK? Dorit's better than me. Dorit is better than me because I don't think Kyle wants him, but first of all, you shouldn't have done it in the first place of reaching out to him. Second of all, I have told you that reaching out to him is upsetting to me and it bothers me. So then you do it again. See, that's when I got to take your behind out back because you're not computing language. So maybe I need to show you that that's not okay with me. So that's pretty much the wrap on that. Kyle and Dorit agreed that they do want to talk together. They don't want any cameras. They don't want any of the women. They just want to sit and talk and see where they can go from here. Kyle said she's willing to make the first move and set that up. So we'll see. They talked about how, because of like Sutton's like sisterhood initiative, Dorit, tried to open up to the group. And then the first time that she does that, Sutton interrupts her, because it was time to drive to Garcelle's beach house. And Dorit just basically checked her saying like, it's rude, you're Miss Manners, and you should know how to interrupt someone properly and, say, excuse me, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but, it's time for us to go. But you were just really rude. You doubled down. It was just saying, oh, it's taken so long. And, you came in so aggressively and so abruptly and it's rude. And, Sutton's like, well, I didn't mean to. And, Bose jumped in there at some point and was just saying, you struggle with accountability and, you've made these choices in how you talk to people and how you react to people. And it's very intentional. So just say that it is and own up to it instead of like acting like you don't know it's happening or denying that it's happening. They did bring out the friend of, so they brought out my girl, Jennifer Tilly. She was over there eating her snacks. I said yes, because I am a snack girl. I always have something nearby in my purse, in my bag, because I be hungry. I just be hungry. But anyway, Jennifer Tilly was there. She had all of her big, obnoxious rings. I was like, yes, girl, give it to us. Give it to us. And it's funny because y'all know Jennifer was reading PK and Dorit a little bit. She was reading them down in the after show. Dorit didn't say nothing to her. And this is what I mean by these girls know who they can play and know who they can't. Dorit did, not that Jennifer is like some bully or like, not that she's like, would yell and, curse her out or anything. But I think she wants to be just in proximity to someone like that rich and that connected. And she took that right on the chin. She damn near shined Jennifer's shoes. Like she had nothing to say. She was like, oh, well, yeah, I really like you and I hope you're part of the group for a long time. And, it just broke my heart. I thought you were going over to the Witches of Eastwick or whatever. Is that a show? I'm not familiar with that show. So I don't know what it means, but I'm guessing since for witches, she's saying that they were just like being mean girls or something. And I'm like, first of all, that's you and your crew. That's number one. But two, she's Sutton's best friend. So is it a surprise that she is aligned to Sutton and Sutton's other friend? That shouldn't be a surprise of like, oh, you went over there with them. Yeah, that's how friends work. I know y'all, Fox Force, whatever, struggle with like real friendship, but like real friendship tend to like stick with their friends. So yeah, so there was like that little piece, talked about just how rich and fabulous she is. And, they brought out Kathy. They did ask, Kathy, they asked about like Kathy and Sutton because Kathy was going to confront Sutton at the last reunion but Sutton fainted and had to leave. And, I couldn't remember why she was even mad with Sutton. Like when I was watching that last reunion, I'm like, what is she even mad at? But they did show a few clips, and it was because Sutton had told Kyle, you lost one sister, do you want to lose another one? And then she also told the group that Kathy had yelled at her. I was like, I guess. Big whoop. But again, everyone's just like all hail Kathy Hilton. So I guess it's a big deal. So basically, it was a nothing burger by the time we got around to this year. Kyle was just, or Kathy and Sutton were just like, yeah, Kathy got elevated. She was able to de-escalate. They talked it through and they were fine. So it really wasn't that deep. They got on the topic of like people of Erika Jayne on a Watch What Happens Live episode being asked who sucks up to Kathy the most. And she said Sutton, followed closely by Garcelle. And Garcelle asked Erika, okay, why? Like, give me an example why. And she's like, oh, I just wanted to say that. I mean, it's Watch What Happens Live. It was a shady question and I gave a shady answer. I would have been like, well, why'd you give that shady answer? Like, I would have pressed her some more. And here goes Garcelle. Oh, okay. And it's funny because I said it before, I'll say it again. Erika, that's you. You stuck up to Kathy because you were so mad about Sutton's fashion show getting interrupted, which Kathy did. Kathy interrupted it. You were so mad about that, but you weren't mad at Kathy. You were mad at your mom because at one point Kathy stopped to talk to your mom, and that's when the model had to walk around. That wasn't your mom's fault. Your mom was sitting there minding her business, and Kathy walked over to her after Dorit kicked her, or after Sutton kicked her out from backstage. So you had all this to say, but because Kathy was involved, you downplayed her and was like, oh, but my mom, I can't believe my mom did this. Erika, suck it. Okay? You don't make sense. And then a follow-up to that wallet comment, because Dorit was eating Sutton up. Like, it was like a read that wasn't a read. Because when they were talking about the wallet comment, they were like, well, someone who says that would, only someone that thinks that they're better than someone else would say something like that. And Sutton was like, no, I don't think I'm better than anyone. And Sutton tried to de-escalate it, but Dorit already had her rehearsed reads in her head, so she had to get it out. And she was like, I mean, it's not like you live like the Queen of Sheba. You live on a main road. And Andy was like, she lives on the street of Bel Air. Is that what you're trying to attack her for? And she's like, yeah, I don't want to live in a main road. So it falls flat because we know Sutton got money. Like, we know she owns a baseball team. She has multiple properties. And we know that you are in pre-foreclosure, or you just scratched yourself out of it. So I wouldn't talk about homes, honey. Let's not do that. Another part that I forgot to say is that Kyle, when they're talking about that wallet comment, is Kyle like, I just thought it was disgusting. You know what I'm going to say. If you know me, and if you've seen my other videos, you know what I'm going to say. Kyle, you thought that was disgusting, but a child getting cursed at, you laughed. The 14-year-old, yeah, Erika just cursed at him. Kyle, you're disgusting. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Like, was her comment the politest thing? No. But let's rein it in. Stop the double standards. Stop the selective outrage. Okay? Let's put it in context of what it is and what it was. Like, I just was disgusted. Shut up, Kyle. Because I can name about 10 things that's disgusting about you. So stop. Okay, so then let's get to the end. I liked the end. Some people were saying it was so mean and so dark. I thought it was funny. So maybe I'm mean and dark, but I enjoyed it. So, like I said, Dorit had a great time this second half of the episode, just really going in on Sutton. And she was saying, like, you barely said 2 words at the reunion. Where was that girl who was talking so much over the season? Where's she at? The one with the eyes and wants to look at you and wants to really go low. Where's she? She didn't come today? I said, get her, Dorit. Get her. She was like, oh, she didn't come today? She didn't come. And when she said that, Sutton smiled a little bit. Like, Sutton was kind of like, oh, she's she's here. I'm trying to keep her down, but she's here. And it's funny that Dorit picked up how quiet she was. I said it in the last episode. I was searching for a pulse. I wasn't sure. Thought she passed out again. And then even Jennifer, when she came out, she was mic'd up. Everybody was. And she leans over to Garcelle and she's like, is Sutton on anxiety medication? And Garcelle's like, we're mic'd. She's like, just let me go back and eat my snack. So everyone, it seems, sensed a different energy from Sutton. You can see it through the screen. She's always dull at reunions, but she's extra dull this reunion. And so she was like, oh, so where's she at? She didn't come today? She didn't come? And she said, I was hoping she would come or whatever. So then she was like, yeah, and she's jabbing at this point. Dorit's trying to activate Sutton at this point, but I appreciate it because at least somebody's working at this reunion. And she's like, oh, because, I know that you like to buy people. You like to buy friendships and you like to, use your money to just get ahead. And Sutton's like, what? And I'm glad, even though I think it's an effed up thing to say, I'm glad Dorit is saying this because she said it in the after show, and I wasn't sure if Garcelle was going to bring it up or if Andy would bring it up. And it's, I think, something that needs to be addressed. Basically, in the after show, Dorit said that Sutton and that Garcelle didn't like Sutton at first, and Sutton went and bought a $25,000 table at a Haitian charity that Garcelle was hosting and bought her friendship because shortly after this charity where Sutton spent a lot of money, Garcelle went to Sutton's New Year's Eve party, and then they were just fast friends after that. And I'm like, friendship has to start somewhere, so that's not buying a friendship. And then other people just talked about how early on when Sutton first joined the cast, she was buying the girls different gifts. She had the rain boots for Italy, and I think she gave out clutches, but I think that was at a store launch or something. That might have been related to an event. So, there were just little instances where Sutton did extend herself. That could be her love language. It's not like she does it all the time. And then more importantly, I think this is important for Garcelle to hear because I want Garcelle to defend herself. Will she? Probably not. But I want her to be like, okay, do you think I can be bought? Do you think I'm that shallow? Do you think I'm that pathetic? I want her to speak up for herself. She probably won't. So we'll see. But, so as she was saying that to Sutton, she was kind of taunting her. And she's like, yeah, I know you like to buy people. I know you like to do this. And, this is what you do. And and Sutton's like, where is this coming from? What in the world are you talking about? Who do I buy, honey? And as she just said that, her voice changed and and her accent changed too. Cause usually she would say bye. Cause earlier she said, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. She said that earlier. Now, and the first time she said it, she was like, who do I buy? And then she corrected her, not corrected, but then she I guess was more intentional about how she was talking. And the second time she said it, she was like, who do I buy? And I was like, accent change. I noticed it. And then she was like, honey. And then that's what Dorit was like, oh, here she comes. And then the music's like, dun, dun. And everyone's like, Andy's like, and Erika's like, looking like a blow-up doll, little skank. And then everyone's like, oh my God. And Dorit's like, here she comes. It was good. It was so good. I appreciated it. Some people were like, oh, she's a mean girl. I call it housewife activation 101. Listen, I'm here for the petty, petty surface level, I'm here for that. But I don't like the going low and the getting in the gutter or just coming from a place of being really mean. I don't think Dorit comes from a place of being mean when it comes to Sutton. I think they just never connected. One, they always go tit for tat. And I think it comes from just them sparring more so of Dorit just being a mean girl and trying to put Sutton down. I don't get that from their dynamic. So I enjoyed that. I hope Sutton wakes up next reunion. I'm glad Garcelle got a break, but again, there were some times that she could have jumped in and didn't, or pressed further and didn't. So I'm glad she's leaving and going and finding success in where she thrives, right? Because she just doesn't thrive as a housewife anymore, and that is fine. Yeah, so that was it. I enjoyed this reunion. The first reunion I could barely watch. It was just, it felt mean. I didn't like it. This reunion, it felt lighter. I really enjoyed Andy pressing Kyle more. That's the most I've ever seen him try to hold her accountable. He could have done more, but what he did do, I appreciate it. And I was here for Dorit just pushing back on Kyle, activating Sutton. That's it. I'm not going to hold y'all anymore, but I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Let me know below your thoughts on Reunion Part 2. Who was the MVP in your eyes? Was it Dorit? Was it someone else? And how are you feeling about Sutton? Do you think she should come back, or are you over her like I am? Let me know. I look forward to seeing your comments. If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe, watch some other videos, share with a friend, and I will see you guys in the next video.